Grand Theft Auto isn't just a game, it's a diagnosis, a 200-gigabyte autopsy of a world that's been screaming for help for 30 years. If you've ever found yourself at 2 in the morning, parked on a neon-drenched shoulder of the Pacific Coast Highway in Los Santos, just watching the traffic move, you know the feeling I'm talking about. The radio is playing some synth-pop track from the 80s, or a talk show host is screaming about a conspiracy theory that sounds just a little too plausible, and for a second, the screen disappears. You're not playing anything. You're witnessing a simulation that is so hungry to replicate our reality that it has started to devour it. We've been told for decades that the horror of Grand Theft Auto is the violence. The senators, the pundits, the concerned parents, they all looked at the wasted screen and thought they saw the problem. But they were looking at the wrong code. The violence is a distraction. The real knowledge noir truth is much colder. This game isn't a playground for criminals. It is a clinical study of the American spectacle. It is a mirror that was built to mock us, only for us to realize that the reflection hasn't been joking for a long time. Let's be honest with each other for a minute. Why does it feel so lonely to be a god? Think about the architecture of these cities. Whether it is the sun-bleached concrete of San Andreas or the grimy, claustrophobic alleys of Liberty City, these places are built to be looked at, but never touched. You can walk past 1,000 doors, but you can only enter 5. You see a high-rise with 10,000 windows, and you know that behind every single one of them is nothing. Just a texture. This is the hollow code. It's a world built for action, but it's actually a graveyard of stuff. It simulates the feeling of living in a hyper-materialistic society where everything is a facade. You have the fast car, the heavy weapon, and the expensive suit, but you are standing in a city where 99% of the buildings are just hollow boxes. It's the ultimate materialistic hangover packaged as entertainment. And then there are the people, the non-player characters. If you stop the car and just watch a digital citizen for 5 minutes, the noir horror sets in. They have schedules. They have conversations on their cell phones. They have places to go. But we know, and the code knows, that they do not exist until you look at them. They are born 3 blocks away from you, and they vanish the moment you turn the camera. They walk to jobs that don't exist in buildings they can't enter. We laugh at them because they walk into walls or repeat the same 3 lines of dialogue. But here's the unsettling part. Isn't that just a mirror of our own routine anxiety? The fear that we might just be background characters in someone else's simulation? GTA takes the mundane horror of the modern commute, the endless loop of work, sleep, and consumption, and it automates it. It shows us what we look like from a distance, just a series of data points moving along a pre-programmed path, waiting for a player to disrupt the cycle. When you punch a random person on the street in Los Santos, you aren't just being a bad guy. You're testing the system. You're trying to see if anything in this world is real enough to have a genuine reaction. And every time, the system just resets. The police arrive, the wanted level flashes, and the status quo is violently enforced. That wanted level is its own kind of nightmare. In the lore of the machine, the state is an omnipresent, invisible god. You can be in the middle of a desert, miles from any witness, but the second you break the protocol, the stars begin to flash. This is the surveillance dream. GT. A simulates a world where privacy is a myth, and the state is a violent force that only exists to put things back exactly the way they were. It's not a game about freedom. It's a game about how long you can survive before the system deletes your progress. It's a training manual for a world where the camera is always watching, even when you're alone. But we have to talk about the satire trap. This is where the script gets dark. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, the radio ads and the billboards in Grand Theft Auto were hilarious. They were parodies of American greed, toxic celebrity culture, and shallow politics. They were so over the top that they felt safe. We could laugh at ammunition ads or weasel news segments because they were caricatures. But look at the world outside your window in 2026. The satire did not just leak, it flooded the basement. The jokes in Grand Theft Auto 5 about people being obsessed with their Life Invader profiles, the crushing weight of student debt, and the absurdity of billionaire space races, those are not jokes anymore. They are the news cycle. Rockstar Games did not just build a playground. They accidentally built a hyper-reality mirror that stopped being a parody somewhere around 2013. When the simulation and reality become indistinguishable, the game stops being an escape. It becomes a document. We are playing at a life that is barely different from the one we actually live, which makes you wonder, who is actually being simulated here? If you have ever played GTA Online, you have seen the final evolution of this trap. It is the capitalism simulator stripped of all its metaphors. You work jobs, literal repetitive digital labor, to buy digital cars that you keep in digital garages so you can look better than other digital people. It is a second life that is just as exhausting as the first one. It is a world where fun has been replaced by grinding, and where the only way to win is to spend real-world money to avoid the digital work. It is the most honest representation of the 21st century economy ever created. It is a loop where you pay to play, and you play to pay. Let us go back to that midnight drive. Why do we keep coming back to this world? Maybe it is because we want to see the code in action. We want to be in a place where the problems are simple enough to be solved with a fast car or a well-timed cheat code. We want to live in a world where the noise is turned up so loud that it finally makes sense. But the knowledge noir realization is that the noise in the game is the same noise in our heads. The liminal nature of the map, the empty hills of Blaine County, the silent bottomless oceans, the high rises where no one is home, that is the true face of the game. It is a world of immense potential that is completely empty of meaning. It is a hollowed-out version of the American dream. It gives you the grand theft, but it never gives you the life. We spend hundreds of hours in these cities because they offer us a version of control that we do not have in the real world. In Los Santos, I know why the police are chasing me. I know how much my apartment costs. I know exactly what I need to do to get to the next level. The coded reality of GTA is that it is actually more organized and more logical than our real lives. The chaos is a lie. The game is a perfectly tuned machine designed to give you the illusion of being a protagonist in a world that, in reality, does not even know you are there. Observe the physics of the world. When you crash a car, it deforms. When you shoot a window, it shatters. This is the feedback protocol. The game is desperate to convince you that your actions matter. It is trying to hide the fact that the world is made of ghosts and textures. It is like a stagehand frantically moving props around behind the curtain while the lead actor is looking the other way. And then there is the reset. Every time you die, you wake up in front of a hospital. A few dollars are gone, but the world is exactly as you left it. There is no consequence. There is no history. There is no future. There is only the eternal present. This is the ultimate noir trap. To live in a world without history is to live in a world where nothing can ever truly change. You can burn the city down 1,000 times, and every time you wake up, the sun will be rising over a perfectly intact Los Santos. It is a beautiful, neon-lit purgatory. So, what are we actually investigating here? We are not looking for a killer or a conspiracy. We are investigating a murder where the victim is the American dream. GTA is the record of that crime. It shows us the body, it shows us the weapon, and then it asks us if we want to take a turn holding the gun. We go into this world to escape the noise of our real lives, only to find a more intense, more violent, more pure version of that same noise. The next time you're driving through the city at night and the simulated moon is reflecting off the simulated ocean, do not look at the mission marker. Look at the sidewalk. Watch the non-player characters vanish into the shadows. Listen to the radio host mocking your lifestyle while you use your real thumb to move a digital hand. We have been trained for 30 years to think this hyper-reality is an escape. We have accepted the hollow code as a design choice rather than a condemnation of our own values. But the knowledge noir truth suggests something else. Rockstar Games did not just build a world for us to play in, they built a mirror for us to get lost in. You think you are the player. You think you are the one holding the controller. But in the world of the hyper-reality mirror, the reflection is the only thing that is getting stronger. The simulation is working perfectly. And the scariest part is not that the game is becoming more like our world. It is that we are becoming more like the game.